Good evening. Welcome to Fantasy News. I am your host, Snow Black, with today's Whimsical Roundup. A tragedy was narrowly avoided today when a brick wall almost collapsed on passing pedestrians. Eyewitnesses report seeing the Coburn Street wall begin to buckle, with up to a dozen people walking beneath it around 3 p.m. today. The structure was seen to topple towards the street in one intact piece, before swaying for some minutes as pedestrians fled. It was then seen to swing back into an upright position. The two-story wall was the only remaining section of the historic Regent Theatre, demolished some 6 weeks ago. When questioned about the incident, the wall reported feeling isolated and unsupported since the Regent Theatre facade and all remaining walls were removed. The wall went on to say that it had not been informed if it would be incorporated into a new structure on the site. It said it would feel more secure if it were involved in future planning. A City Council spokesperson says the exposed red brick wall is earmarked for a community development project incorporating a paleo cafe, a hanging garden, and a mural painted by a local graffiti artist. It is not known if the wall has yet been informed of these plans. A centuries-old historical mystery was reopened this week when new information was discovered in a time capsule. 3 private journals claiming to detail the life story of Cinderella give differing accounts of the end of the long-lost kingdom of Faraway. Assumed to have passed away peacefully during the happily ever after period, it seems Cinderella and her handsome prince were not as clearly fated as history suggests. One journal claims that the handsome prince of Faraway never actually found Cinderella because her evil stepsisters did not allow her to try on the glass slipper. The prince went on to unhappily marry a princess from a neighboring kingdom and produced no heirs. Cinderella is reported to have lived a short few years before perishing from a lung disease contracted from constant exposure to cinders. The royal line ended with the prince, and the Faraway Kingdom soon dissolved and made way for the Faraway Republic. A second journal gives a vastly differing account, claiming that the prince did find and marry Cinderella. It reports, however, that after several of their children were born with the same rare health condition, it was discovered that Cinderella was in fact the handsome prince's biological half-sister. The journal reveals that Cinderella was the illegitimate product of the king's indiscretion with a chambermaid. The final journal discovered reports that the prince did in fact return the glass slipper to Cinderella, but found himself less attracted to her in daylight. It is reported that this feeling was more than mutual on Cinderella's side. In this account, both Cinderella and the prince returned to their lives and went on exactly as before, with nothing changed. It is yet unknown how or if these accounts will affect the official records set down by the Brothers Grimm. Turning to sports news, the Empathy Olympics kicked off yesterday. More than 20 commonly understood feelings will compete against one another in a bid to be crowned the most universal, of all human experiences. Let's have a look at the competitors. Number 1. When you crack a joke you didn't even know you were going to make, and everyone laughs, and you don't know if you can do it again. Number 2. Realizing you have begun your slow descent into believing that all today's music is rubbish. Number 3. That thing that you still don't know, but are now too embarrassed to ask anyone about. Number 4. That one hair growing out of your mole that you keep plucking, but it keeps coming back, and you have come to accept that you and the hair are locked in an eternally cyclical relationship like the sun and the moon. Number 5. That feeling you get on a Sunday afternoon. Number 6. When a colleague leaves the office in the afternoon and the remaining staff all say bye in an unrehearsed but exactly perfect harmony, and nobody acknowledges it. Number 7. The wispy ghost of a faded dream or hope which abuses you into waking at 4 a.m. and pokes you ceaselessly until morning. Number 8. That unbridled rage when your favourite band's roadies have finished setting up the stage, and then it all goes silent and dark, and then somebody walks on stage and you get all excited because you think it's a band member, but it's just another roadie because they forgot to plug in the keyboard. Number 9. A moment half remembered and just sort of half made up or maybe stolen from the photo that you have of that moment. Number 10. When your friend is not enjoying something as much as you are, and you don't know if you should dampen your enthusiasm to empathize with them or just ignore them and hope they get over it. Number 11. The age you first realized that what's inside other people's minds is different than what's inside yours. Number 12. The age you first started to doubt your own mind. Number 13. The 5th time you have Googled that one term this year because your brain just won't commit to remembering what it actually means. Number 14. The voice in your head that commentates the web page you're about to open or the room you're about to walk into as though it is announcing it to the Apollo Theatre. Number 15. The fact that the Venn diagram of days on which you've cleaned your bathroom and days nobody has come over to your house is actually just 2 circles side by side. Number 16. That long, tense moment when the bill arrives for a meal shared with a friend of uncertain status and you don't know if you should split it or offer to pay or wait for them to offer. Number 17. The way you feel about birds. Number 18. Never remembering the correct pronunciation of meme. Number 19. Never correctly pronouncing Segway. Number 20. Being too afraid to attempt pronouncing traditional Celtic names like Killian, Aoife, Siobhan, Porrick and Saoirse. Number 21. Not caring that the creator of GIFs says it is pronounced GIF because we have all been pronouncing it GIF for about 30 years. Number 22. Never remembering how to spell the word definitely. Number 23. The disappointing disparity between what cat food smells like and what it tastes like. The Empathy Olympics will run until either next Saturday or until the last tear has been shed. That's all for tonight. You have been watching Fantasy News. I am Snow Black, and I will see you once upon a time.